Pacific, Missouri, treibt Richard Wiggler seine Rinderherde, ohne dabei ein Pferd zu reiten. Er reitet einen Käfer. Der Käfer, eines der zähesten, stärksten und zuverlässigsten Tiere, die es gibt.
Ihr Volkswagen seid euch doch alle gleich. Ihr seht alle gleich aus. Wenn man einen kennt, kennt man alle. Ihr friert nie ein und ihr kocht nie über. Ihr seid wirtschaftlich und langlebig und so verflixt zuverlässig. Und doch werdet ihr immer wieder gekauft. Selbst von mir. Jahr um Jahr.
Jahre der Entwicklung und Forschung, Jahre der Erfahrung von 7 Millionen Besitzern in der ganzen Welt machten viele Eigenschaften des Volkswagens berühmt. Aber die allerwichtigste ist, dass dieser Wagen läuft und 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 läuft und
So fingen die meisten Autos an. In ihrem Innern hatten sie eine Menge komischer Dinge, wie Frontmotoren, Kardanwellen, meterlange Auspuffrohre, Starrachsen, Blatt- oder Schraubenfedern, Wasserkühler, Wasserschläuche, Wasserpumpen, Wasser. Und die meisten Wagen werden heute noch so gebaut. Dieser nicht. Dieser hat einen Heckmotor, direkt an den Antriebsrädern. Deshalb braucht er keine Kardanwelle. Der Heckmotor ist luftgekühlt. Deshalb braucht er statt Wasser nur gute, frische Luft. Die Räder sind einzeln aufgehängt und mit Drehstäben einzeln gefedert. Deshalb braucht er weder Blatt noch Schraubenfedern. Er ging viel später an den Start. Deshalb liegt er so weit vorn.
A Volkswagen engine has a reputation for being very reliable. So reliable that people are modifying it to do some pretty adventurous things. Some people rely on it to power dune buggies. Some people rely on it to power racing cars. But nobody ever really relied on it more than Mira Slovak did, the day he left New York for London.
That's how easy it is to take out a Volkswagen engine. Imagine how easy it is to service the rest of the car. This is air. Air is for breathing and for cooling car engines. Air won't freeze up. Air won't boil over. Ask any Volkswagen.
You think that's a Volkswagen you're looking at? Well, it is, and it isn't. It's a Volkswagen we put together ourselves, from parts.
So in case you've been wondering about how many parts we carry, you can stop wondering. We carry all you need. When you try to close the door of a Volkswagen, it doesn't work. You have to push it closed. The Volkswagen is so airtight, it helps to open a window to close the door.
Some time ago, the Volkswagen people went to see one of Italy's most famous automobile designers.
Buongiorno, signorina.
Buongiorno. Volete seguirmi, per favore?
Grazie. Buongiorno. Molto piacere. Ben arrivati, prego, prego. Buongiorno. L'ho fatto buon viaggio? Ottimo. Molto traffico in questi giorni, eh?
Cose formidabili. Bene, bene.
They gave him this assignment.
Quali miglioramenti?
What changes would you recommend in the design of the Volkswagen? He studied it and studied it. Then he said,
Ingrandire il finestrino di dietro.
make the rear window larger.
Solamente questo?
That's all?
Solo questo.
That's all. We did, starting with the 58. A Volkswagen is never changed to make it look different, only to make it work better. If you owned an 8-year-old Volkswagen and had it washed every now and then, who would know it's an 8-year-old Volkswagen? Except you.
Ever wish you didn't have radiator problems? Ever wish you didn't have a radiator? Ever wish you could sail through mud or snow? Ever wish your car didn't guzzle so much gas? The Volkswagen has no radiator problems. In fact, no radiator. The Volkswagen engine is cooled by air. Can't freeze in winter or boil over in summer. The Volkswagen engine's in the rear. You go in mud or snow. The Volkswagen cuts most gas bills in half. Ever wish you owned a Volkswagen?
A Volkswagen has a lot of things you can't get in other cars, like an aluminum magnesium air-cooled engine and back, the most advanced service system in the world, great resale value, and it costs less than $2,000. Maybe if it cost more, people wouldn't leave it out in the rain. Sedan 111 suggested retail price, POE, local taxes and other dealer charges, if any, additional.
He's here! Ladies and gentlemen, the 18 millionth person in the world to buy a Volkswagen just walk through our doors. This is an historic moment. Excuse us, boys.
For who would have thought 22 years ago, when only 2 Beetles were sold in the United States, that this day would come? I'll tell you who. Volkswagen. For while everyone else was experimenting with new cars every year, Volkswagen stuck with one, improving and refining it year after year, until it has come to this. The 1971 Super Beetle. The 18 millionth Volkswagen made goes to... sorry, sir. Your name, sir? Oh, Norman.
Mr. Norman, what do you have to say about all this?
Oh, I just wanted who ordered the tuna whole wheat iced tea, no lemon.
What?
Pocas cosas en la vida funcionan tan bien como un Volkswagen. La mejor compra.
Estamos presenciando la llegada de distinguidos representantes de varias naciones que han venido hasta este recinto para planificar la posibilidad de la conservación y el óptimo aprovechamiento de los energéticos. Los ojos del mundo entero están puestos en este significativo acontecimiento, ya que de las decisiones que se tomen aquí depende que las reservas de hidrocarburos no se agoten, al menos en este siglo. Con el arribo de esta delegación están reunidos ya todos los países participantes y de un momento a otro.
¡Hey! Lo siento, señor. Este lugar está reservado para el presidente del Consejo Mundial de Economía. Sí, oficial, soy yo. El presidente del Consejo Mundial de Economía.
Es bueno recordarlo. Volkswagen, la mejor compra.
Durante la conquista del oeste, este hombre cruzó profundas cañadas, ríos caudalosos, extensas llanuras, fangosas praderas, escarpadas montañas y desiertos interminables. Si este hombre hubiera realizado sus hazañas en automóvil, ¿cuál cree que habría escogido?
Es bueno recordarlo. Volkswagen, la mejor compra. El Volkswagen, simple y sencillamente la mejor compra. El Volkswagen, la mejor compra.
Everybody knows a Volkswagen gets great gas mileage. But what about a Volkswagen with an automatic stick shift?
Years ago. They thought we were crazy.
Ideas that have often looked good on the drawing board have a tendency to perform differently in real life. This message is brought to you by the people at Volkswagen. We've had 23 years to straighten out our bugs.
Four, three, two, one.
On October 23rd, 1970, when Gary Gablich broke the world land speed record by going 622 miles per hour, he was glad he had a car he could depend on. That evening when he went home, he felt the same way.
Volkswagen announces air conditioning.
Finally made a car big enough for Durante. You know, folks, when you're built like me, you can't get just any old new car. You gotta get one with all kinds of extra room, especially extra breathing room for the old schnozola, plenty of headroom and lots of leg room. This car also has big bucket seats. And folks, when I say that this car is big enough for Durante, that also means it's big enough for a little companionship. Good night, folks.
Introducing the 1973 Super Beetle. It's so big and comfortable inside, you won't know it's a Volkswagen until you're outside.
A-ding-ka-doo.
If you open the door of this big new 1973 car, you won't find anything really new. You'll find big contoured bucket seats, but that's not new. You'll find a big padded sculptured dash, a sporty steering wheel, but you've seen all this before. And every big car comes with a big curved windshield these days. It gives you a great view of the world, but it's not new. Plenty of legroom, nice but not new. And there's nothing new about finding all these big things under one big roof. What is new is finding all these big things under one little roof. Introducing the 73 Super Beetle. It's so completely changed and comfortable inside, you won't know it's a Volkswagen until you're outside.
Try looking at a Volkswagen this way. It's the only small car with a sealed steel bottom that leaves nothing exposed beneath it. And the VW is built to take a little punishment. As small as the VW is, it's covered with 13 pounds of paint, outside and in, even in places you can't see, but which corrosion can find. In fact, the VW is so well put together, it's practically airtight. Now, what other car gives you this kind of quality at this kind of price?
Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight rides of Paul Revere. He lives in New Jersey and each night drives afar. So in '66, he bought a new economy car. And for 88,000 miles, he recorded each expense to determine his cost per mile to the very last pence. And then, because that amount came out ever so small, he spread the good news with his now famous call.
2 pennies a mile! 2 pennies a mile! 2 pennies a mile!
Il y a des matins où c'est rassurant d'avoir une voiture qui démarre.
Alors, frère, on éclabousse?
Laisse-moi contempler le chef-d'œuvre, Sam. Pare-brise hollywoodien.
C'est Noël.
Cette année, nous avons amélioré le confort de la coccinelle.
Bourgeois.
Et on se plaint.
Rien ne sert de courir, il faut partir à point. Gageons, dit la coccinelle, que vous n'atteindrez point si tôt que moi ce but. Sitôt. Êtes-vous sage? Répartit l'animal léger. Sage ou non, je parie encore. Elle part, elle presse le pas, elle se hâte, sans en avoir l'air. Lui, cependant, méprise une telle. Il broute, il se repose, il s'amuse à toute autre chose. À la fin, il voit que l'autre touchait presque au but. Il partit comme un secret. Eh bien, lui cria-t-elle, n'avais-je pas raison?
Il y a des perfectionnements sur la coccinelle que vous ne connaissez peut-être pas encore.
La porte!
La climatisation, par exemple.
Et voici la nouvelle coccinelle. Elle a un moteur plus puissant. Mais comme toutes les nouvelles voitures, il faut s'y habituer. Si tout devait recommencer, il ne faudrait pas oublier les coccinelles.
Mesdames et messieurs, comparons la robustesse de ces deux voitures concurrentes. Moteur. L'une de ces deux voitures est l'aboutissement technique de 30 années d'expérience, constamment améliorée à travers 15 millions d'exemplaires. Tous ces éléments mécaniques sont arrivés à un sommet de perfection technique. Mesdames, Messieurs, j'ai l'honneur de vous présenter la coccinelle la plus parfaite de tous les temps, la 1303. Et voici maintenant... Oh, soyons discrets. Il y a peut-être quelqu'un dans la salle qui possède ce modèle.
At Volkswagen, we don't worry about how our car looks. We worry about how it works. So every day for the past 25 years, we've been testing and torturing things like door hinges and hood locks, seats and shock absorbers. No other car goes through so much for so little.
Gee, baby. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm from Volkswagen, and I've got a music problem.
I'm Ronnie. I'm Johnny. You got a problem. We got a song.
Well, we're very excited about the 29 improvements in our 1972 Super Beetle. I thought perhaps a theme song.
We did car gigs.
Yeah. Improvement number 1, the compression ratio has been optimized through dish pistons. Dish pistons optimized compression ratio. Oh, yes, sign off. Oh. You got anything else?
Improvement number 2, increased air inlet groupings. Number 18, an advanced manifold preheating system. Finally, improvement number 29, floating bearings for most mounting points. Gentlemen, the most improved Volkswagen ever.
Kid, 5,000 canaries whistling the bluebird of happiness at the Hollywood Bowl couldn't help you.
This is a dramatization of a true story. On November 28, 1970, a storm developed in the Sierra Nevada mountains that was termed the worst ever. 6 months later, when emergency crews were finally able to clear the roads, something strange happened. A car was found, a Volkswagen, buried beneath tons of snow and ice. But even stranger than that, when the crew supervisor turned the ignition key, the 1974 Volkswagen, covered by VW owner's security blanket.
If you're thinking of buying a new car, maybe you ought to think about what's going to happen when you sell your old one. Let's say you own a 1965 economy model. Now, the average price for a domestic economy car back then was $2,100. A good deal, until you drove it out of the showroom, when a curious thing began to happen. In 3 years, your $2,100 economy car was worth only $1,000. Some economy. Of course, there was a car around in '65 that didn't shrink like the others. It sold for around $1,600 new, but in 3 years, it sold for over $1,200 old. Impressed? Okay, so you're not impressed. Yet.
This year, just about everyone's coming out with a brand new small car. So this year, just about everyone will be telling you about this great new idea, to think small. It is a great idea. We at Volkswagen have been working on it for 21 years.
To cope with the gas shortage, one man we know of figured out a way to harness wind power. Another devised a method of making his own fuel from cow waste. And someone even went so far as to create a piston-driven pogo stick. Why are all these people doing all these crazy things when all they have to do is one sensible thing?
I didn't know what I had. She was dependable, reliable, not very glamorous, though. That's why I left. For beauty. But underneath that beauty. So I came running back. And I'll never leave again.
Another person who found out that inner goodness is far more important than outward appearance.
If you're starting out to see the USA, you may not get very far, because there's a serious gasoline shortage. Quite a few gas stations have closed, and a lot that are open don't have a lot of gas. So if you have a big car, you may have a big problem. But if you have a Volkswagen, which gets about twice the gas mileage as the average car, you can leave your problem behind.
Hello, I'm Buzz Aldrin. 3 years ago, when I walked on the moon, our mission relied on a highly technical computer checkout system. This told Mission Control and us exactly what was right or wrong in our space vehicle. I've been asked my opinion of a similar system built into another vehicle here on Earth. Built into every 1972 Volkswagen is a network of sensors leading to one central socket. This is plugged into a computer. They tell me this computer will be at Volkswagen dealers soon. It will report the condition of your car directly to you. 60 vital service points are checked, then printed out in plain English for you to read. This printout sheet just told me that the battery in that Volkswagen needs water. I'm impressed.
It's one of them new ones, isn't it? But it ain't. How much? I can tell by them. Almost as big as the headlights. Is that all? Anyway, the windscreen's different.
Yeah, look at that. It's all curved.
Of course it is.
And look at the flashy speedo and the dash. It's padded.
Those seats go into 77 different positions.
How'd you know?
Because, my man's getting a new one, isn't he?
About time. His has been around as long as Bobby Charlton.
Still goes, doesn't it?
Blimey, it must be bigger inside and all.
The new Volkswagen 1303. We've made so many improvements, they're beginning to show.
Warum sieht man dieses Zeichen so oft an einem Volkswagen? Etwa weil der robuste Motor so viel aushält? Oder weil der ganze Wagen so solide gebaut ist, dass er jahrelang hält, egal wer ihn fährt? Vielleicht aber auch nur, weil es so wenig kostet, ihn zu reparieren.
Das ist der neue VW 1300. Er kostet keinen Pfennig mehr als der alte, aber er bietet eine Menge mehr. Zum Beispiel ein Zweikreis-Bremssystem, eine Frischluftanlage, eine Sicherheitslenksäule, ein Sicherheitslenkrad und über 2 Dutzend andere wichtige Verbesserungen. Und noch etwas. Der Einfüllstutzen für Benzin befindet sich jetzt rechts außen.
Ist es nicht schön, dass es noch Dinge gibt, auf die man sich verlassen kann? Dieser Mann fährt zur Arbeit in seinem VW. Seine Arbeit ist einen Schneepflug fahren. Wenn Sie vor ihm zur Arbeit fahren müssen, warum versuchen Sie es nicht auch mit dem Volkswagen?
Der Erfolg des Käfers ist vielen so unbequem,
dass Sie ihn am liebsten umbringen möchten. Aber so sehr sich die Möchtegern-Käferkiller auch anstrengen, der Käfer ist nicht umzubringen.
Links, nicht wie weg! Los, mach! Verflixte Mistkarre!
Mir, ich hab das schon 100-mal gesagt, du sollst einen VW Käfer nehmen. Da weiß man, was man hat. Da wären wir schon längst weg.
Schnauze!
Jetzt wirst du ja endlich in deinem geliebten Käfer gefahren.
Der Käfer, dein Freund und Helfer.
Deutschland hat einen neuen Weltmeister, den Käfer. Noch nie in der Automobilgeschichte wurde ein Wagen so oft gebaut. Über 15 Millionen Mal. Ein großartiger Feind. Viele trickreiche Gegner wollten ihn auf die Bretter schicken. Aber der Käfer mit seinem tapferen Boxermotor ging nie K.O. Seine ausgefeilte Technik, seine unverwüstliche Kondition und sein anspruchsloser Lebensstil machten ihn in der ganzen Welt zum Publikumsliebling. 15 Millionen Mal. Jetzt ist er Meister aller Klassen. Jetzt ist er Weltmeister.
Jetzt kommt der einzige Wagen der Welt, der serienmäßig eine Automatik, eine Doppelgelenk-Hinterachse, ein Zweikreisbremssystem und eine Sicherheitslenksäule hat. Sein Name? VW Automatik.
Just a few of the thousands of improvements we've made in our car. Every last part has been changed or improved. Some have even been changed again and improved again. They're as close to perfect as we can make them, but we're hard to satisfy. So our latest improvement is an improvement that keeps the other improvements working right. Every 72 Volkswagen has a built-in service system that attaches to a computer that writes out on paper 60 test results that tell you how your car is doing. The computers will be ready starting later this year. Every 72 Volkswagen is ready now.
The man who just walked out that door is Wall Street financial expert Alan D. Sutton, who's about to give you some advice on how to get through these uncertain times. Something you can buy low yields great dividends while you have it. And if you ever decide to unload it, chances are it'll sell high.
Buy a Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, one of the best buys on the street.
Since everyone's conducting a mileage test, we at Volkswagen thought we'd conduct one. So, we modified our body and our engine and used someone who didn't weigh much to drive. And we got 84 miles per gallon. Ridiculous? Nobody normally drives like this? That's precisely our point. Nobody normally drives like most of those tests.
Zsa Zsa talks about a new luxury car.
Darling, I love this seat with corduroy. And the sunroof and the metallic paint. I love it. And Mother loves getting 33 miles per gallon on the highway.
She's right. With daughters like mine, you learn the value of $1.
Presenting La Grande Bug, a new limited edition Volkswagen.
I, Maxwell E. Snavely, being of sound mind and body, do hereby bequeath the following. To my wife, Rose, who spent money like there was no tomorrow, I leave $100 and a calendar. To my sons, Rodney and Victor, who spent every dime I ever gave them on fancy cars and fast women, I leave $50 in dimes. To my business partner, Jules, whose only motto was spend, 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 I leave nothing, nothing, nothing. And to my other friends and relatives who also never learned the value of a dollar, I leave $1. Finally, to my nephew Harold, who oft-times said, a penny saved is a penny earned, and who also oft-times said, gee, Uncle Max, it sure pays to own a Volkswagen. I leave my entire fortune of $100 billion.
Have you ever wondered how the man who drives a snowplow drives to the snowplow? This one drives a Volkswagen. So you can stop wondering.
And now the star of the 1949 Auto Show. The car of the future. The car the public wants. The all-new DeSoto.
The long skirts will be the next look on the fashion scene. The Studebaker will be the next look on the automotive scene.
So there's no doubt about it, next year every car in America will have holes inside.
So the man to see if you're buying your next car for keeps is your nearby Packard dealer.
Longer, wider. The 49 Hudson is the car for you.
So Volkswagen will constantly be changing, improving, and refining this car. Not necessarily to keep in style with the times, but to make a better car, which means to all of you, better miles.
Of all the promises made at the 1949 Auto Show, we at Volkswagen kept ours.